please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Markets, it's off from the day's high, but still holding up with gains of close to about 0.6%. Keep your eye out on a couple of names. HDFC Life is under pressure. That has lost close to about 4.5%. Some disappointment on not getting added in the MSCI index, so that could be weighing on HDFC Standard Life. PFC continues to remain under pressure. The fear in the market is that power is going to be the power assets held by PFC are stressed and could be headed for IBC. So that PFC has lost nearly 23% in the month of May. And oil marketing companies are cheering that finally, now that the election is over, petrol as well as diesel prices have been hiked, and now that they've got a clean verdict, HPCL, BPCL, IOC can resume hiking the prices from here on. Remember, the marketing margins currently are still lower than their normal trend. But let's address the market technicals now. Ashwani Gujral and Rajat Bose join us on the show now. Ashwani, in the green, the mid-caps are not participating too much. Lost ground from the top of the day. Your thoughts?
See, overall, I think the market has discounted the event and now is looking at some amount of profit booking. So I would think that possibly we could get into a bit of a correction going forward, as the triggers on the upside are probably over and the market is hitting resistance at higher levels. So that way, Nifty, Bank Nifty with the stop at about highs of the day, you can try out a short trade if you want. And my sense is that at least in the next couple of days, there should be profit booking from higher levels. Okay. As far as individual stocks are concerned, Voltas is a sell with a stop of 594, target of 570. Tata Steel is a buy with a stop of 626, target of 642. 626, target of 642. And Sun Pharma is a sell with a stop of 474, target of 450.
All right then, so the stop should be the high of the day. Today's high, in fact, is at around 10,930. That's on the Nifty cash. So keep an eye on that front. If you're going short, then in fact that should be your stop loss you're looking at. But let's go across to Rajat as well. Rajat, your view on the index, and what about the stocks you have for us?
Well, I also tend to think that the index is unlikely to take out the 10,930 top and go further up, because the breadth of the market is not very good. I mean, in the sense that if you track the new highs, new lows index, it's actually pretty abysmal there. I mean, up until yesterday, the situation was pretty bad. So considering that, I have a feeling that we could see this is another top, and from there some retreat is most likely, and things are likely to fall. I have chosen two stocks for the day. Two are in the futures. I mean, I've given futures levels. Jubilant Food May futures is a sale, and with a stop above 24.45. Targets would be 23.95 to about 23.90 intraday call. And SRF is doing pretty well, so I would rather suggest you can buy SRF. 22.68 to about 22.73 is the buying range. Stop loss below 22.39, 23.11 to about 23.25 would be the levels that you can expect. It's also an intraday call.
Okay, Ashwani, Tata Motors has consistently fallen for the last 4 trading days, down from levels of 340, now below 320. Your thoughts on the chart?
See, it's been in a bear market and continues to fall, and particularly because a lot of the market stocks are now bearish. I think next level on Tata Motors should be back to about 280, 270, the place from where it had that large rally. So Tata Motors sell on all rallies from here.
Okay, all right. Thanks so much for that, Ashwani, as well as Rajat, for joining in and pointing out all those stocks then. Well, keep an eye on a couple of these stocks. Some of them are really slipping. Cummins has moved to the low point of the day, so I think you should keep an eye on that one. And everyone was wondering what's going on with Suzlon. The stock was up close to around 10%, I think, earlier today. It's only a 9 rupee stock, but that as well has come off close to around 6% from the highs of the day. We have the European markets, though, that have opened up. So let's take a quick check out there. Let's see how those markets have opened up. You're getting the initial rates that should come up on the screen. Some red, actually. Remember, Asian markets were not in a very pretty place. So the CAC as well as the FTSE, both of them have opened up with cuts of around 0.2% to around 0.3%. So a little iffy is what we're seeing. These large caps have slipped quite a bit from the top of the day. ICICI Bank is now in the red. So just in this hour, the stock has lost nearly around 1.5%. Keep an eye out on that stock. And Reliance Industries as well. Pull off the intraday chart over there. Both those two have slipped. And that's the reason why, in fact, the Nifty has come off the day's top. It's not just that. Keep an eye out on the mid-cap index as well. More number of stocks are advancing than declining. So that's what we have been seeing. But now the mid-cap index is barely holding on into the green. That's because a few of these stocks are slipping. Karnataka Bank has taken a bit of a knock. We have Cummins as well that we pointed out earlier. Shrey Infra as well has taken a bit of a knock on the talk. And even Century Textiles. I think we should get a few of these stocks that should come up for you on the screen. But moving on then, let's talk about the ferrous space. Bhushan Steel may well be the first company to be resolved under the NCLT from the RBI's defaulters list. The Delhi bench of the National Company Law Tribunal today cleared Tata Steel's resolution plan for Bhushan Steel, paving the way, in fact, for the takeover of the company by the Tatas. Ritu Singh, remember, she's been on top of that one. She broke the story first in terms of the acquisition details. She joins us with the latest. Ritu.
Thank you, Nigel. Well, NCLT today has approved Tata Steel's resolution plan for Bhushan Steel. This makes it the first company to be successfully resolved under the NCLT, assuming, of course, that, Electro Steel that was actually first cleared, the resolution for that has been put on hold for now, given the NCLT hearing that is yet to be concluded. So that makes Tata Steel's offer for Bhushan Steel the only successful resolution on the NCLT so far. The offer, we understand, is about 36,400 crore rupees that has been approved by the bench today and the Committee of Creditors. They, remember, outbid JSW Steel to emerge as the highest bidder for company for Bhushan Steel. Bhushan Steel itself has a debt of over 47,000 crore rupees and claims of over 56,000 crore rupees. So there is some haircut that the lenders will take. But what is in it really for the shareholders is the question that we have been asking. In Electro Steel as well, we saw that the equity was virtually written down to zero. In this case, we understand Tata Steel is likely to acquire 75% stake in Bhushan Steel, but it does have the option to take that stake up to 98%. So if it does acquire only 75%, in that case, lenders will get 13% equity, public will get, that is the existing shareholders, will get 10%, and the existing promoters will get 2%. But if Tata Steel decides to acquire up to 98% stake, which it has the option to, the remaining 2% stake will be divided between the lenders, the public, and the promoters, so leaving very little, in fact, for the current shareholders of Bhushan Steel.
Okay, Ritu, thank you very much for that. Bhushan Steel stock is up nearly 5%. Tata Steel is leading the winners list. For Tata Steel, they get ready-made steel-making assets.
That's right, Rima. The current capacity is around 13 million tons. They're already looking at some capacity expansions. But this, it adds nearly around 5.5 million tons. So that's something that the street was working with. And, in terms of a capacity increase, it's more than a 40% increase out there. What were the concerns? Has Tata Steel bid too aggressively? That was one concern. And that's why the stock corrected nearly around 20% from the recent top. Remember, Tata Steel already has a net debt of around 75,000 crore rupees. And for the last many years, we've been talking about Tata Steel reducing debt. Suddenly, Bhushan Steel comes into its books and brings a debt as well with that. So that were a couple of concerns. But what were the positives? The capacity goes up phenomenally by 30 to around 40%. And importantly, there's no gestation period. From the word go, they can start running this particular unit. And not just that, they have some iron ore as well. Remember, Tata Steel is integrated in terms of iron ore. So can they use some of that iron ore for Bhushan Steel? Then the profitability of Bhushan Steel can go up phenomenally. As it is, without being integrated, Bhushan Steel, as it is, used to give you an EBITDA per ton of around 9,000 rupees or 8,500 to around 9,000 rupees. So with integration of iron ore, that number can really go higher. So those are a couple of factors. But just importantly, Rima, tomorrow are the numbers of Tata Steel, and the street is working with a good set. EBITDA per ton for domestic operations is 50,000 rupees on a per ton basis. That's going to look very, very good. And secondly, the European operations EBITDA per ton, we are working with a number of around $75 on a per ton basis. Will be a sharp increase from around $40–45 that we saw on a sequential basis. So the number should be good. And this as well, we'll be waiting out for more clarity from the management in terms of the
Tata Steel gets 5.6 million tons of steel. iron ore, and plus there is land, right, that Bhushan Steel is sitting on close to 2,000 acres. So in a country where land acquisition is so tough and is a nightmare, that's an additional kicker.
In fact, remind Bhushan Steel's erstwhile promoter, Mr. Singhal, he had spoken to me, just a couple of months ago, and he said that this facility from 5.6 million tons can easily add 3 to 4 million tons, and that would come at a lower than expected cost. They won't be spending, normally we work with this ballpark figure of around $1,000 on a per ton basis when you're looking to increase capacity. They said it will come at maybe around $500 on a per ton basis. So they can increase this 5.6 million tons to maybe around 8 to around 9 million tons as well. That will be another positive going ahead. But commentary from the management is going to be very, very important tomorrow.
The MSCI changes to the Global Standard Index, which is effective 31st of May, seems to be moving the stocks. So Avenue Supermarts, which gets added, is up close to about 4.5%. On the flip side, Tata Motors DVR, which got deleted, has slipped about 3 to 3.5%. It's taken down Tata Motors with itself. Even in the broader markets, a Force Source is gaining on getting added in the small cap index. So a couple of these stocks are on our radar, and keep your eye out and emphasis. It's easily absorbed that 8% supply, and now it's up close to about 6%. Remember yesterday, the parent company Blackstone sold 8% via a block deal. That's been absorbed, and now the stock is up close to about 6.5%. We're talking about stocks. Key earnings today, a big day in fact. So Punjab National Bank will be reporting Q4 numbers. Abhishek, numbers should be out anytime now. What's the key expectation?
Well, the key expectation will be on slippages and how that pan out. Remember that, they, as per analyst estimate, they will recognize the, Nirav Modi case, that is about 13,500 crore in this quarter. And they also have a restructured book of 9,600 crores. And as per RBI's new policy on 12th Feb, all these restructured book have caused pain for PSU banks at large, what we have seen in the previous few results. So both these put together works out to more than 20,000 crore, and as per Phillip Capital, the slippages is estimated to be at 19,000 crore versus 3,200 odd crore in the previous quarter. That will lead to spike in asset quality or deterioration in asset quality, as we call it. So gross NPA, which was at 12.1% in the previous quarter, is expected to rise. However, government will infuse about 5,500 crore in Q4, so that should provide cushion to your provisions. And apart from that, the loan growth, which in previous quarter we saw growing by 10% sequentially, that should provide cushion in top line growth. So net interest margin on the domestic book above 2.6% will be positive. However, looking at the fact that provisions are expected to remain elevated due to aging of NPAs and high slippages in the current quarter, our polls suggest an NII growth of close to 5%, while they can report a net loss of more than 3,100 crore, and that compares to about 262 crore of profit last year. Back to you.
Okay, all right, Abhishek. Thanks so much for that. Abhishek, keep an eye out on that one. Maybe in the next 1 hour or so, we'll have those numbers with us. But Lupin, that as well be reporting its quarter 4 numbers. Ekta's with us. She's going to tell us what are the key expectations. Ekta.
It is expected to be another subdued quarter for Lupin this time round. So the revenue is expected to decline around 7.6%, with margins coming in at around 18.7%, which would be flat on a year-on-year basis, but improve on a sequential basis, and a profit decline of around 11%. The key culprit this quarter will continue to be the US market. So North America is around 37% of sales, and pricing pressure is expected to continue in terms of their key generics portfolio, including the diabetes franchise of drugs, which is Glumetza as well as Fortimen, and hence that pricing pressure on a year-on-year basis will impact the entire set of numbers. India, which is around 25% of sales, is likely to buck the trend. Overall commentary with regards to the US FDA plant, 2 plants which have a warning letter on them, that is their Goa plant as well as Pithampur 2, will be very closely watched, along with their commentary on pricing pressure.
Away from the equity markets, then let's talk about the commodity markets. Manisha Gupta joins us to give us a complete roundup of what's going on in the commodity and currency space. Manisha.
Thank you so much for that, Nigel. Well, there are other states coming up for elections, and there are various concerns there, especially from the farmer side of it. There are reports on how the farmers are looking to protest in Maharashtra from 1st of June. And the other states which could be joining these protests really are Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Punjab and Haryana, etc. Well, the expectation is, or what has been coming in from the farmers, is that they are going to launch village shutdown strikes. They will not be selling produce to cities. So that is what the planning is at this point in time, and doesn't sound so good. What we already have seen in this week, though, that we have 25 farmer organizations in Maharashtra already organized a jail bharoh. The farmers have been demanding a loan waiver and also implementation of the Swaminathan committee report. In other instances, you already have Gujarat police arrest nearly 500 farmers over the weekend on violent protest against land acquisition by government companies. That was long back, but the farmers want it back now. So there are various things, or rather unrest and protest, which started right back in 2017 and only seem to have gotten deeper as we are into the second quarter of 2018. So not very good news when it comes to the farmer side of the country there. But there's plenty happening in many of these agriculture commodities and the international commodities as well. Sumit Bagaria now joins us to talk about all of that. Sumit, hi. First, the agriculture space. What are you keeping an eye on to there?
Hi, good afternoon, Manisha. Well, as far as agri commodities are concerned, soybean, RM seed and soil are looking good to me at present. RM seed has given a good move in last couple of days. So looking at the chart at present, it seems that we can see extended move from present levels. It's quoting at around 39.19, 39.20 levels. That is the May contract. And June contract is quoting at around 39.45 levels. I think one can initiate long positions in RMC June contract at around 39.45, 39.50 levels. And on higher side, we can see levels of around 4,000 plus in next couple of days. So overall, the commodity is looking strong. If there is a dip of around 10 to 20 points from present levels, then that should be used as a buying opportunity.
All right. So it's the oil seed complex which is looking bullish. But what about the crude oil prices itself? Do you continue to give a buy call on that one?
See, overall, crude is looking strong on charts, but there can be some profit booking from present levels. So purely for a trading perspective for next 1 or 2 days, one can initiate sell positions in crude May contract at around 4,800 levels, which is the current market price, with the stop loss to be placed at 4,850 levels on higher side, for the downside targets of 4,730, 4,700 levels in next 1 or 2 days time horizon. This is purely a trading call for next 1 or 2 days and purely a profit booking call for next 1 or 2 days. Overall, crude is looking strong for next 1 or 2 months time horizon.
Fair point. And before we let you go, Sumit, how are you picking up on the metal space? Because we have seen a very mixed queue come in for that. Of course, there are various developing stories in the international markets, whether it's sense in tariffs or mining and collaborations or sanctions for that matter. How have you read all of that and what is your trading strategy?
See, metals are still looking good to me. Most of the base metal packs are trading higher, and from here on, we are expecting a good upside move. As far as the base metal pack is concerned, I think nickel is looking good on chart. From here on, we can expect nickel to move up, and on higher side, we can expect nickel prices to touch levels of around 1,000, 1,010 levels. For a trading perspective, one can initiate long positions with nickel May contract at around 970 levels, with a stop loss to be placed at 950 levels on lower side, for the upside target of 1,000 and 1,010 in next couple of days.
All right, Sumit and Manisha, thank you very much for that. With that, it's a wrap on Halftime Report. Stay tuned. Business Lunch will take all the market action forward.